All right, this is your pinch pot tutorial. At this stage, you have only begun to barely open up the inside. Our focus today is to use your rib tool and a paddle to smooth out the sides and to begin thinning the walls. Here again is your lip of your piece. Along these areas here, these are your walls, and this down here is your bottom. I like to use this banding wheel to help me work on all sides of my vessel. Right now, the first thing that I'm doing is just kind of going around and patting my mug. Each time I pat it, I'm also helping to center it on my wheel. When you actually get to a throwing wheel, that's when you're going to notice you do similar movements. Right now, my vessel is not perfectly symmetrical. Symmetrical, that's a term that you need to know. What that means is that if I were to divide my cup in half, is it the same on both sides? If it's the same on both sides, then you're doing great. Mine definitely is not the same on all sides. The shape is completely asymmetrical. This is where I'm just going to use this paddle, and I'm going to use it in I'm not hitting it hard, more of a tap, tap, tap motion. And as I'm tapping, I am also spinning. And what I'm doing is I'm also rounding that bottom edge. I don't want a square edge to my cup, but what I'm also doing is just kind of shaping and smoothing the sides as well. Now that might look like I'm tapping hard, but it really isn't much of a tap. It's just kind of giving it a little bit of pressure to start shaping it the way I want it to. Another tool that you can use is your rib tool. I like to use the flat side of my rib tool when I'm working on the sides. I also tend to bend it. So when I'm working with my cup, I like my sides to be nice and smooth, but they're also rounded. So another way that I can use this tool is spinning my wheel and holding my rib tool along the side. As I spin it, I am also getting rid of any of those creases. This is not a process that happens fast for beginning ceramic artists. This is a process that does take a period of time. So if yours is not perfect right away, that's not a problem. It's not meant to be. This is meant to be a process where you're learning to control the clay and to shape it to the desired effect. Tap, tap, tap. So you'll notice that each time I am spinning my cup, I am trying to achieve symmetry. So right now my piece is very asymmetrical, and I'm using the paddle and my rib tool to help shape it. The bottom is going to be flat. It does not have any rim or footing on it yet. That's one of the last steps that we have in making a mug. For right now, I'm just trying to achieve symmetry. I'm also smoothing out imperfections as I go. I can have my cup upside down, or I can have it right side up. Right now, on the inside, I can see the areas that are really thick, and I can see the areas that are not quite so thick, that are maybe a little too thin. Those are things we're going to work on. Right now, I'm just trying to work on the outside, okay? On the outside, I'm trying to achieve a nice symmetrical shape. Each time you're turning that banding wheel, it is giving you the advantage of seeing all different sides and be able to do the same thing on all sides. If I'm being consistent and doing that paddling or the tapping along all the sides, I'm going to start getting the shape that I want. I can work close to the bottom, I can work close to the top, and I'm just using a repetitive tapping method. So I took a cup that was not so symmetrical, and now it's becoming more and more symmetrical as you see it spin on the wheel. I'm also using my hands to bring it together. This is a motion that I use quite often on a throwing wheel. So some of the motions and terms that you learn doing a pinch pot is actually going to carry over to doing the wheel throwing projects as well. Now I'm going to slide this off and I'm going to start working on the top. Right now my pinch pot is about 4 inches, 3.5 inches tall. I'm going for 5 inches tall. Let me say that again. I'm going for 5 inches tall. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to pull that clay that is built up along the walls, and I'm building it up at the top. So I'm using my left hand to support my walls, and I'm using my right hand, or more or less my thumb, to begin pulling the clay from the bottom towards the top. I'm trying to achieve a symmetrical vessel, which is about 5 inches tall and consistent or symmetrical on all sides. Each time I am using my hand to smooth that clay on the inside, I'm bringing it towards the top. Once I've opened it up enough, I'll be able to insert more fingers inside so that I'll be able to pull more at one time. Some of you have already begun using your rip tool to smooth the inside. Before you can actually begin smoothing on the inside, you really need to thin those walls. If your walls are really thick, and most of yours are, you want to work on bringing that clay from the bottom towards the top. So the best thing that you can do at this stage is use your hands. And again, your tools will begin coming into play the more you've moved that clay towards the top. You'll have a lot more space to work with. As you can see, my opening is really asymmetrical and it's imperfect. I don't care about that yet. What I care about is making sure
You have